This is my re-review and my re-review on the director's cut and theatrical one. So there's really not much difference between the theatrical version and the director's cut. Nothing really changed the story and no good added cool action scenes. The film's just longer and campier than the theatrical cut. So I recommend the director's cut more than this one because director's cut is more campier than the theatrical one. And goofier. Now, a lot of people seem to say the other way around. That's the way the theatrical ones can be, and takes away the dark and gritty atmosphere that the director's cut was trying to bring. But really, there's really not that much different. Otherwise, it's goofier, dumber, and cheesier. For the director's cut is goofier, dumber, cheesier, and campier. The director's cut is. Yes, so I recommend the director's cut over the theatrical cut. But I recommend both of them. So this is my thumbs up for that one and thumbs up for the director's cut. Now let's talk about let's talk about the story. So Spawn is Orion Gus's name, Spawn. And they explain this very briefly, how if he uses all of his powers, he gets sent back to hell. So he has to rely on guns and his fists, but he relies on his powers more than he should. He doesn't rely on guns and fists, he relies on his powers. And his mentor, the very creepy and yet very wise mentor, says, I will teach you how to use our powers against the blah 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 blah. So he has a very brief montage of how he learns all of his powers and goes back to kicking ass. He's now wanted man by the police, so the police are looking for him. But then that's only touch on both, so only touch on very briefly. And also the third thing is touch on very briefly. Which is how he uses the powers, very touch on very briefly. And he relies more on his powers than he should. Instead of relying on his guns and his fists, he relies on his powers more than anything. He's almost incompetent, isn't he? So yeah, that's pretty much it. So him and the old Spawn, which is his mentor of who is one of King Arthur's knights, goes to hell and fights off the devil himself and kills the Violator. Violator, what a stupid name when he's a clown. Like, that's scary. And he saves his family, and Spawn doesn't end up with his family because he doesn't know who he is. And he went to hell and stuff. So he goes on, he finds in a peace with himself. That's okay that his family doesn't know. Now, as long as I know, I'm protecting them, blah, 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 that cliche bullshit. So he looks off in the distance and keep flowing in the air, watching the streets for rapists or the whores or blah, 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 whatever you call them. He is now Spawn, a full-fledged hero. This one's so fucking stupid but fun to watch. So I highly recommend this wonderful film that makes absolutely no sense but has likable characters but not relatable characters. but likable because it's not really related. They're not relatable because you don't really know where any of them are coming from, not any Spawn. And all good old-fashioned campy fun, so I highly recommend this film. And you know, the cover shows that Spawn is not wearing his cape. The cover shows Spawn wearing his cape, but he really wears his cape in the show. I'm glad they're making a remake of this game remake, because this has very unclear direction of where it wants to go sometimes. Most of the times. Okay, not all the times in this film, but I can't believe it's fun to watch. It's like the 3 Ninja Turtle films, the first 3 Ninja Turtle films, all roll into one package. And you watch all 3 of them at once. You're like wondering, where's this going? Is someone going to die doing the stunt? Like the Mission Impossible franchise all will roll into one. Or it's like the Ninja Turtle franchise all rolled into one. All the Ninja Turtle original 2 movies rolled into one. And all the Tom Cruise movies all rolled into one. Of awesome stupidness. I highly recommend this film. Have your popcorn and but you put lots of butter, and it's all enough to give you a heart attack. Ha 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 ha. Ha. And yeah, that's my review.